Welcome to the Understanding the Impact and Benefits of Using Regular Zoom Writing Sessions for PhD Students During COVID-19, a collaborative autoethnographic approach presentation. Before we begin, we'll just briefly provide an understanding of our presentation. Firstly, I'll introduce my colleagues who are co-presenting with me. Then we've got a couple of acknowledgements that we would like to cover, as well as provide a background to this methodological approach and the study itself. We'll then discuss briefly the underpinning methodological approaches that have led us to developing a collaborative autoethnographic approach to our study. We'll also discuss some barriers and enablers, as well as ethical issues concerning this study. I'd like to begin by introducing my colleagues. My name is Richard McGrath. There's Holly Bowen-Salter, Emma Milanese, and Phoebe Pearce. We'd also like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the country on which we recorded this presentation, the Kaurna people, and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. Ngā Māni. This study has also been supported by funding through the University of South Australia's Researcher Connection Innovation Grant.
So this study started as part of social isolation prevention sessions, or SIPs, which were 3-hour daily Zoom sessions that started at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. These sessions were designed to support Australian higher degree research candidates where there was a recognised need that they weren't receiving the social support or the structured working sessions that they would have received in person traditionally. Initially, SIPs was administered by a single individual. However, regular attendees have taken ownership of the sessions and take turns running the sessions as administrators. As such, SIPs has no singular affiliation to any institution or field of study, which means we get a wide range of higher degree research candidates from a large number of fields of studies and a large number of institutions across Australia and New Zealand. The sessions are designed to be a combination of working and socialising. There's a real emphasis in SIPs on social isolation prevention. As such, we allow there to be flexible talking and chatting times and then structured working periods. Initially, these structured working periods were kept to the Promato technique, so 25-minute working periods followed by short chatting periods. However, in response to attendee feedback, there was a need to move to longer working sessions, and so we set up a voting system where they could vote for either 25-minute sessions or 45-minute sessions. So in the talking sessions in between these working sessions, which is the social isolation prevention component, there have been many discussions that we've had. These have revolved around post-PhD careers, academic resume development, the impact of COVID-19 on a PhD, and then also generally supporting each other through the process of doing a PhD. A discussion also arose around conducting a research project focusing on SIPs. Due to the nature of online writing sessions and developing a community of practice, there was a need to have an online collaborative research methodology to conduct this study that was suggested by attendees. However, to date, there wasn't any appropriate methodology available for such a study until now.
So as we've pointed out, when we were exploring conducting a research study with the SIPs members, and not just on the SIPs members, we were drawn to two emergent qualitative methodologies, these being collaborative autoethnography and netnography. This led us to developing a collaborative autoethnographic approach. So as we can see here, our methodological approach for developing a collaborative autoethnography for this study draws from autoethnography, collaborative autoethnography, as well as netnography. My colleagues now will provide a brief summary of each of these three underpinning methodological approaches, which led us to the collaborative autoethnographic approach.
So autoethnography, as the term suggests, is closely aligned with ethnography. So essentially, it's an approach that allows the author to write in a highly personalized style, and it seeks to describe and I guess analyze personal experiences of the author. So in one regard, it can kind of be related to like diary keeping of the author's experience and understanding of societal phenomenon. So What autoethnography seeks to, I guess, acknowledge is the complicated link between both the personal experiences of the author as well as the cultural experience and how they've experienced that through culture. So as mentioned, they are very reflexive in the way they're written, but also self-critical. And they, I guess, strive to bring those two components together to create an emotionally and intellectually charged engagement or written text. So it is very much a narrative of the experiences that the author has gone through.
Collaborative autoethnography is a bit of a paradox in the sense that it's about the study of the self, but as a member of a collective. This means that collaborative autoethnography happens on two levels. So first, the initial autoethnographic reflection that happens as an individual, but then interpreting that data collectively and collaboratively. So it's been argued that this layered act of reflection and interpretation of purposeful and intentional storytelling can act as a pathway for transformative learning, especially for students in higher education, which is important when considering the context of how this was developed. So collaborative autoethnography is made up of 4 key characteristics, the first 3 of which mirror autoethnography. The fourth characteristic involves the researchers making sense of each other's work through interrogation and building upon the singular experience systematically through community-based critical dialogue.
So netnography is an online research methodology which has focus on online communities and also online cultures. One of the major aspects of netnography is the inclusion of the researchers' engagement within these communities. It allows researchers to be able to obtain a more in-depth understanding of the online forums and communities. And netnography focuses on technology and social media platforms and how their features, such as chat or file sharing, are changing how humans interact with one another. Netnographic studies to date have had a more focus on researchers as outsiders.
So as my colleagues have pointed out, and we refer to again, is that the development of the collaborative auto-netnography approach that we are putting forward draws upon autoethnography, collaborative autoethnography, and netnography.
So the aim of this project was to explore the impacts and benefits of SIPs using this methodological approach. This has involved SIPS participants being offered the opportunity to be involved in this collaborative research project, but coming from the fact that SIPS participants wanted to be involved in such a project.
So I guess a bit about the data collection method. So data collection involved participants writing personal reflections of the impact and benefits they perceived occurred during sessions and the online writing sessions specifically. So the participants weren't constrained in any sort of way by word limits or time or anything like that. It was literally a free-for-all, go ahead and write down your personal experiences during these sessions. So the narratives were collated and then distributed to all participants to review. So participants were encouraged to discuss any commonalities or key themes they found from these narratives. And this actually occurred during Zoom sessions, the SIPS Zoom sessions. So participants' comments and images as well within the Zoom chat function were also collated and analysed to assist with triangulation. But also field notes taken by the research team were also used and collated and analysed as well.
So there weren't any major difficulties in obtaining the reflective stories from the participants or during the collaborative analysis stage of this project. One barrier, however, was in regard to some SIPS members having little to no prior experience to qualitative methods. This left the participants not feeling confident enough to be able to share and contribute to the analysis aspect of the study. However, due to the approach adopted throughout the study, HDR students who were conducting qualitative studies offered to help and train and support those who were struggling, helping to create an online community and culture.
As a result, the adoption of this approach has not only provided insight into the culture of an online writing community, but it's also provided the opportunity to extend the previously established community of practice amongst SIPS participants. So essentially, even though SIPS is the first group to undergo analysis and undergo this particular methodology, it is also a group that helped create and support the development of this particular methodology. And so it works as one in the same. However, whenever you do any kind of ethnographic research or autoethnographic research, there is risk involved, especially around the idea of revealing inherently deep or personal thoughts. And so this is particularly risky. The development and structure of this study was designed with the intention of mitigating these identified risks. And the reason that it was designed this way was because it is a reflection of SIPS itself. And SIPS has already identified and mitigated a lot of these risks around having a safe space and identifying these particular risky ideas of deep thought. Participating in the study, as well as continuing to be involved in the regular Zoom writing sessions, provided an opportunity for participants to have a balance between encouraging each other to share personal views and to share experiences, but also being able to develop a safe space to reduce forms of distress and discomfort. And so that is what the process was for SIPS, and is also the same process that happens within the research. The same security protocols that we had as part of practice are the sort of protocols that we are using within the research platform.
So in summary, the development of the collaborative auto-netnography approach that we've adopted to understand the benefits and impacts of the social isolation prevention sessions has drawn from autoethnography, collaborative autoethnography, and netnography. We would argue that the development of the collaborative auto-netnographic approach has been as a result of the qualitative research being able to adapt and adopt different aspects within a changing world, particularly during a COVID pandemic. We'd like to thank you for listening to our presentation. If you'd like any more information about the SIPS project, there's our website there. And I'd like to thank my co-hosts here for presenting with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.